All right, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We've got a pretty good crowd tonight, so thank you very much. Now, a couple of rules before we get going. There's cookies, and you all know the cookie rule, right? You have to accept cookies to be part of the meeting, right? So did y'all check the accept cookies box? All right, that means you have to eat one at least. And at the end of the day, there can't be any cookies left. Okay. There's also coffee, and looks like people have partaken of coffee already. We can make another pot if that's what you would like to do. It just takes a few minutes, so just be patient. So if you want to make another pot, raise your hand, and we'll get that going. All right, we still got some people joining us this evening. Very good. For those of you on Zoom, excuse me, that's going to be next year's web platform. All right. Here we go. So we want to, again, thank you very much for joining us. Here's what our agenda looks like this evening. We're going to go through our club business very quickly. Hopefully we're done by 8 o'clock, and then we have two guest presenters that are going to talk to us about DX activity in various forms from start to finish. So it should be pretty interesting. And then we'll do a quick program wrap up and we'll be on our way. And if you could just help us pick up the chairs at the end of the evening, we'd appreciate it. All right, before we get going, let's do a little housekeeping. Emergency exits. The emergency exits in this room, Bill is giving us the flight assistant technique. That is correct. The back door over there on that side, which is to my right and your left, and that front door. And then there's another door that leads out up the alley and up the front over there as well. The restrooms, far back corner. If we do have a Zoom audience tonight. How many people do we have on Zoom, Dave? 10 people joining us this evening on Zoom. Thank you very much. And we will do them a favor. If you have a question, when we get to questions in the presenters section or anytime, please raise your hand so we can bring you the microphone so that the Zoom folks can hear your question. Because the only person they can hear right now is me, hopefully. All right. Yes, Steve. That's correct. Thank you, Steve. Steve reminds us that those folks on Zoom can enter their questions in the chat box. They'll be relayed by Dave. This is somewhat like the National Traffic Network, but not quite. Anyway, onward. Let's go. Membership update. Where's that Mr. Esteemed Wes Lamboli? Where is he? There he is, way back there. Wes, I'm going to bring you the microphone.
We have currently 318 members in the club, and we got some new ones coming along. And the guys that just passed the test, how many of you are here? I know at least one is. Stand up if you would. We want to congratulate you. You got your technician. And anybody that's passed once get an upgrade or a test? Yeah, okay, stand up if you would. And Sebastian, way to go. Welcome aboard.
All right. Well, thank you, Wes. It's pretty cool, you know, these folks that go to the VE exam, they get their exam completed, they pass in the paperwork from the VE guys, and lo and behold, 3 or 4 days later, they got a call sign.
Takes a hair longer than that these days.
All right. So, calendar items. What do we got coming up? We got Georgia Cuso logs are due midnight on the 23rd. John's going to talk to us about Cuso, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. But Dave is going to talk to us about the upcoming one-day getaway picnic. So I'm going to turn this over to Dave, KO4 USA.
Thanks. So, excuse me. So on May 13th, we've already reserved the shelter, the West Bank Park shelter up at Lake Lanier. And every year we do our NARFL Lake event, and it's tied in with an island getaway day. So we're going to have a couple of radios, a couple of antennas set up there. And this starts at about 8 o'clock in the morning. We have it for the full day. We have it through 5 p.m. that afternoon. Everybody's welcome. What we're trying to do, though, is trying to get a handle on about how many people are going to be there, because we have to kind of judge how much food and desserts and such that we need. So watch your emails. We're going to send out a notice, and if you could respond, this way I can get a quick tally on about the attendance that we expect. Two things that we're looking for is if you could, if you're going to, first of all, if you're going to attend, and second, if you could bring a side dish, right? Because everybody likes a nice assortment of different things. You know, we're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs. Last year, we were lucky enough, I think it was Warren brought a delicious smoked butt with us, and that thing took over the whole, everybody went crazy. Thank you. And if we're going to have something similar like that this year, it'd be good to know in advance, and we can adjust the other foods that we bring. So watch your emails, respond if you're going to attend, and let us know if you're going to be kind enough to bring something to help out with the food and or beverages. Any questions on that? May 13th, it's less than a month away, so thanks. We look forward to seeing you there.
Just a couple of notes on that. The park requires a $5 fee, honor fee, to pay for parking. So that's per car, it's not per person. So you can pack, 20 people into a car. No. You pay when you go in, and just keep that in mind. They might be there asking, they might not. All right. Guess what else is coming here? Field day. So guess what? The ARRL made some changes this year. And the best way to figure out in detail what those changes are is to go out to the ARRL site. And there's the link. And go check it out. That's the link right to the field day information page. They have they've gotten a little bit smarter than before. They have several pages that you can go to rather than go to a page and then download a PDF and blah, blah, blah. So go check up on the rules. The most interesting thing is, got everybody excited, is the go-to station. They've changed a lot of rules there. So we got some people here who are looking for recruits. And by that, we mean kids or people who don't have their license so they can participate, because there's no limit on the go-to station score this year either. So that's the other cool thing. All right. We are going to run in a similar fashion that we've run over the last couple of years. We've already got the tents ordered. Thank you very much, Jim Payne. And we've got the park ordered. We've got our fabulous Lynn Kahn catering service that is going to treat us to, multitudes of food, which is all great. And we will be meeting tomorrow as a sub-team to get things further defined on the operating teams and so forth. So again, it's the 24th and 25th of June. We look forward to having you there, and keep your eye out on your email, because we'll also have some sign-up sheets going out for that. All right. Next thing we got is ISA. So just a quick update. On March 31st, several of us went over to the Webbridge Middle School and taught the 6th grade science classes all about ham radio. So they all got their extra licenses and, no, that's not true. What happened? Wes, you remember what happened? Oh, we all had a good time. There's about 400 kids at this school in the 6th grade. So Ted Macklin, K4 MPM, Dave Biscotti, KO4 USA, Martha, W4 MSA, Wes, W3 Whiskey Lima, and this guy Mike Riley, KN4 OAK, and Steve. Oh yeah, Steve. Where is Steve? Hi, Steve. Steve Randall, KO4 VW. We went to Westbridge Middle School and we each had a class presentation that we were going to make. And we made that in multiple times. There were 18 classroom periods that we made presentations to for just about 400 kids inside of just over 5 hours. So it was a pretty nonstop day, but it was very interesting. Wes brought his Tesla coil, which everybody got a real kick out of. So thank you very much, Wes. It was amazing. Some of these kids were totally baffled about how a fluorescent light bulb could be lit with no wires. They were just mystified. But some of them knew exactly what was going on, and it scared us. No. Anyway, we're going to do this. Each of our presentations are going to become part of either hand camp curriculum or youth program curriculum or future ARIS contact school curriculums that we're working on. And we have a couple coming up, and you can see here they are. We will go through them. But the next thing is for the Westbridge Middle School to actually make their contact, and I think it's going to be the week of May 15th. We're still waiting for a confirmation date. That's the way AMSAT works and NASA works. They don't tell you until a couple days before. And then we have the Computer Museum of America activity coming up. We're going to run a ham camp there, and this is something else that we're going to be coordinating in the next couple of weeks, because this is coming up in the middle of June. So we're going to be looking for volunteers to participate as instructors once we get the curriculum finalized. And we hope that you join us in doing this. This is at the Computer Museum of America over in Roswell. All right, moving right along. John Tremontanis. And I think there was a CUSO party or something.
I think a lot of the folks out here were in it. We had a great time 2 weekends ago. It was almost like a club meeting out there on 40 meters, hearing everybody. Again, our club is well represented, probably more so this year than some in the past. So I'll get into a few details on scoring. We're still getting scores in. I got a few just today, so I'll give you results on that. But as was previous slide said, submit your Cabrillo file to the GQP April 24th. I think it said midnight the 23rd, but it only takes 2 minutes to do, so don't wait any longer. Just get it done. Go in there and do it. Put North Fulton Amateur Radio League as your club. There was a lot of confusion about that leading up to it, whether it's North Fulton ARL or NFARL, write the whole thing. My logging program, I think, pulls it in from maybe the prior year, but nevertheless, we don't get credit unless we have the full club name in the report. That's georgiacusoparty.com. We had 10 active stations, one by one, created a lot of stir, and if you want the special QSL card, look on the webpage or just email to me if you worked us. And also, if you spelled NFARL in any combination, you get a special certificate for spell NARFL. And then actually, not many people earn that, or maybe not many people submit for it. So if you did it, go for the certificate, because there's very few that get out there. Now as you know, we have our contest within the contest, and it's really just a fun event within the club. We call it the NFARL Challenge, NFARL Challenge, and we submit our scores on spreadsheets into the club, and we dice them up and see who gets certificates in certain areas, and we have a lot of fun with that. And it also keeps track of who we had participate that year in the contest to make plans for next year's contest, and it's a lot of fun. And there's classes, we have rookies, modes, we slice and dice it, so we have a lot of winners. And from the preliminary scores, looks like for the 4th year in a row, we'll surpass 1 million points as a club. And additionally, 2023 looks like it's going to be another record year. So we've increased every year for the last 8 years in our score total. But still, we have a few outstanding folks that haven't submitted yet. So please send me your spreadsheet and we can see how the tally goes. And my comments are really, our guys were loud. I mean, I was up in Fannin County, but guys I couldn't hear normally, I heard better. Maybe propagation was better, but this is Georgia to Georgia propagation. I think people are honing up their stations and doing a great job. Our club really made a good imprint on the bands over the weekend. And most folks improved over the prior year's score. We might not have had as many stations in the mix, but everybody scored higher than last year, almost everybody, and scored significantly higher, which shows that we're giving it a good go. So thank you. We'll maybe have more details in the newsletters coming up, and appreciate everybody helping out. I had a good time.
Thank you, John. Okay. We're going to have Jim Payne come up and give us a quick recap on the Sandy Springs Lantern Parade, as well as push the North Fulton Aries team a little bit, because these guys are getting pretty active. And there's a number of people who were involved before that have jumped back in, and there's a number of new people that have jumped in as well, thanks to everybody involved. So come on up, Jim, and spend 10 minutes talking to us.
Can you turn the volume of this down?
Okay, Steve. How's this? This is a good place to be? Thanks, Mike. Well, this will just take a minute. I wanted to recap an event that our ARES team, ARES, is Amateur Radio Emergency Services, and we're an affiliated group with this club. And 10 of us came to an event in Sandy Springs, the Lantern Parade, which is a very large event with hundreds of people attending. And one of our jobs as amateurs involved in emergency services is to deal with crowds and people and help our law enforcement agencies, or we call them served agencies. And that's what we did. We helped the Sandy Springs Police and Fire Department with crowd control and working with them. So just briefly, our job was to monitor the walking course for the Lantern Parade, which is about a mile, 3/4 of a mile from start to finish, finishing from Morgan, actually the clubhouse on Morgan Falls Road, all the way to the river. And then, of course, these people had to come back. Next slide, please. This is to give you an idea of the type of units that were in the parade. This is one of the more elaborate ones, showing quite a lot of creativity, and there were about 200 participants that all had lanterns. These lit up. Next slide, please. And this is more typical of the crowds that came, hundreds of people coming down the parade route. You see, it's a family event with children, adults, and they all had different types of lanterns, that most of them were homemade. So the challenge of this really, and this is another very, one of the better ones, I think, from homemade. The course is about 3/4 of a mile, and It's 125 feet rise or fall in elevation from start to finish is 125 feet over this 3/4 of a mile. And then, of course, you got to climb the hill on the way back. We had 10 of us out there working. Mike Cohen, 84MC, was at home coordinating through his radio. And Bill was there, and KN4DLE is our leader of the troops on the ground. We have several people here, Tammy, Larry, who else was there Saturday night? Several others in the back. Can't see who you are, but anyway, we appreciate the participation from club members in our Aries activities. So that's really about it. We had a lot of fun, and we provided a good service to the city of Sandy Springs, and they appreciated it. And if I may, just a quick comment to those of you that do not know what Aries is. Our mission Saturday night was provide emergency communications between the Lantern Parade walkers and the incident command, which Bill manned that. And this helps minimize the need for 911 calls from parade walkers. So we had 10 of us all through the parade to watch for problems. And we do have some. People get very tired and want to sit down or quit. We also provided guiding lights, this being an example of one that we used with and without the red wand to direct people down the parade route. So just to sum it up, this is another example of how ham radio operators can work with the served agencies, in this case, the city of Sandy Springs, and provide volunteers that can provide communications. That was our only job was to communicate and spot problems. So that's just another activity that ham radio operators can get involved in. And if any of you would like more information on North Fulton Aries, please see me after the meeting. I'll hang around a few minutes and I'll be glad to help you. There's no cost, there's no dues. It's a volunteer organization. We do have meetings once a month, and that's about it. So Mike, thank you for the time, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And as Jim said, they meet on the second Tuesday of every month. And they meet over at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints over in Roswell on Norcross Street, right at the Rotary. All right, let's see, we got one more thing to do here. We're doing pretty good on time. I'd like to invite Steve Randall up here. He's got a special presentation to make.
Gosh, it's great to see such a good crowd here tonight. Sometimes it's been a little bit light since COVID, but it's great to see the numbers coming back up and great to see everybody here. As most of you know, I'm mostly a CW operator and run CW chat on Wednesdays in memory of our departed W4QO. And we've presented quite a few of these Code 10 certificates to people that are here and other people since I've taken that thing over. The great thing about it is that everyone who has got one of the Code 10 certificates since I've been giving these is an active CW operator. They didn't just get these things and go home and decide not to operate. You can find their scores on 3830. They're working parks, they're working summits, they're doing all the things. They're working CW ops, medium speed tests, slow speed tests, USO parties, and the works. And so it's just great to see. Having said that, we have another one to give away tonight. And this one is to John Mayo, KR3T. Come on up, John. He's the latest to get one of these. And we're real proud of John. And John, hold this up here. We'll get a picture here with. We have a really good time at CW Chat, and everybody learns a lot. We not only teach people how to do Morse code, we teach people how to get on the air with it and how to operate on the air once you get there. Once you've learned the alphabet in Morse code, that's just the beginning. So come and join us. All right, for the moving right along, I wanted to say a couple of things about Field Day. I was your Field Day chairman last year, will be again this year. Luckily this year I'll be helped by Dave and Mike instead of carrying the whole load myself, although I did have a lot of help last year. But these guys have already done a whole lot of the work. A lot of the stuff has already been done. We'd love for everybody to get involved in our Field Day experience this year. If you think that you or you want to get involved, and please reach out to one of us. Any of the three of us are fine. Tell us what you'd like to do. You'll see sign-up sheets and things like that coming on the website soon as we start putting these plans together. But reach out and tell us how much time you have. What do you think you can do? We need people to help set up. We need people to help tear down. We need people to operate. It's much harder to get people to help tear down than it is anything else. And we'll talk more about that next month.